My name is Anna. I moved to a small village 2 years ago with my husband, Max. We wanted to live closer to nature. There is fresh air, a river, and a beautiful forest nearby. It's peaceful here, and we love it. We plan to have children soon, and we think this is the best place for them to grow up. We met our neighbors soon after moving. Their names are John and Lisa. They are the same age as us, and they don't have kids either. We started doing things together. We go on picnics, and sometimes we look for mushrooms in the forest. Life was simple, and everything was great. John works far away. He has to leave for weeks or even months for his job. Lisa often feels lonely when John is away. She started asking for help with different things around the house. Max and I always try to help her. I noticed that she started asking Max for help more and more. She would ask him to fix something in her house or help her with the garden. At first, I didn't think anything of it. Max is always kind, and I trust him. But then I saw something strange. Lisa started wearing different clothes when Max was around. Instead of normal house clothes, she wore fancy dresses, and she always smiled at Max in a way I didn't like. I tried not to worry, but deep down I felt uneasy. Max didn't seem to notice anything at first. He thought he was just helping a neighbor. But then he started staying at Lisa's house longer than usual. I would wait for him, wondering what was taking so long. He told me he was just helping with small things, but I could feel something was wrong. One day, I asked Max, "Why do you spend so much time with Lisa?" He looked surprised and said, "I'm just helping her out. She needs help with her house because John is away." I nodded, but I didn't feel better. I started to watch them more closely. When Max went to Lisa's house, I would find reasons to visit too. I wanted to see what was going on. Every time I went over, Lisa would act like everything was fine, but I could see how she looked at Max. It wasn't friendly anymore. There was something more in her eyes, something that made me uncomfortable. One evening, Max came home late again. I asked him why he was late. He told me he was helping Lisa fix her car. I didn't believe him. I didn't say anything, but I knew something was going on. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I started dreaming about Lisa. In my dreams, she would try to take Max away from me. I woke up feeling angry and scared. I knew I had to talk to Max again, but I didn't know how to start. One day, I saw Max and Lisa talking outside. They were standing too close, and Lisa was laughing. My heart started beating fast. I couldn't take it anymore. I went outside and asked them what was going on. Lisa smiled at me, but it wasn't a friendly smile. "Oh, Anna, we were just talking about the garden," she said. I looked at Max. He didn't say anything. He looked guilty. That night, I told Max how I felt. I told him I didn't like the way Lisa was behaving, and I didn't like how much time he spent with her. Max was quiet for a while. Then he said, "I'm sorry, Anna. I didn't realize how much it was bothering you." I felt a little better, but I still wasn't sure if I could trust him completely. From that day on, Max tried to avoid Lisa. He stopped going to her house as often, and I noticed that Lisa started spending more time alone. Weeks passed, and things seemed to go back to normal, but I still think about what happened. I trust Max, but I don't trust Lisa. I know she wanted something more, and I'm glad I said something before it went too far. Even though Max promised to stop helping Lisa so much, I still felt uneasy every time he went outside. I worried that Lisa would come by. I didn't want to be the kind of wife who always watches her husband, but I couldn't help it. One day, Lisa came over to our house. She had a cake in her hands and smiled sweetly. "Hi, Anna," she said. "I made this for you and Max. I hope you like it." I smiled back, trying to be polite. "Thank you, Lisa," I said, taking the cake. "Is Max home?" she asked, looking around me, trying to see if he was inside. I wanted to say no, but I knew Max was just in the next room. "Yes, he's here," I said, feeling my heart beat faster. "But he's busy right now." Lisa looked disappointed, but quickly smiled again. "Oh, okay. I'll leave you two to enjoy the cake. Let me know if you need anything." She waved and left. I closed the door and felt a strange mix of relief and worry. I didn't want to let Lisa get between Max and me, but she seemed to keep trying to stay close to him. That night, I told Max about how Lisa came over with the cake. He laughed a little and said, "I think she's just being friendly. You don't have to worry." But I wasn't so sure. Lisa's smiles and her way of talking to Max didn't seem friendly to me. I decided that the best thing to do was keep a distance from her. The next week, Max went back to his usual routine of helping around the house, working in the garden, and spending time with me. I felt happy that things were returning to normal. We talked more, went on walks together, and everything seemed fine again. But one day, while Max was at work, I saw Lisa at the store. She came over and said, "You know, Anna, your husband is very helpful. I don't know what I would do without him." Her words made me uncomfortable, but I smiled politely. "Yes, he's a good man." Lisa laughed softly. "He's more than just good, isn't he? You're very lucky to have him." I didn't like the way she said that, but I didn't want to argue with her. I just nodded and said, "Yes, I am." For the next few weeks, Lisa didn't come around as much. Max and I started spending more time together, and I felt like our relationship was getting stronger. I wanted to believe that everything was okay, but part of me still didn't trust Lisa. One afternoon, Max came home from work and told me that John, Lisa's husband, was coming back soon. I felt relieved. I hoped that once John was back, Lisa would stop trying to get close to Max. When John returned, everything seemed to change. Lisa stopped asking for Max's help, and we didn't see her much anymore. I felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders. It seemed like the problem had solved itself. Max and I continued to enjoy our life in the village. We went on trips together, worked in the garden, and talked about starting a family. I was happy again, and I started to forget about the whole situation with Lisa. One evening, as we were sitting outside watching the sunset, I looked at Max and felt grateful. I realized that I needed to trust him more. He had always been there for me, and I knew he loved me. I didn't want to let my fears ruin what we had. I turned to Max and said, "I'm sorry if I ever doubted you." Max looked surprised. "Doubted me?" Why? I smiled. Because I love you, and I know you would never hurt me. Max took my hand and said, I love you too, Anna. I would never do anything to hurt you. From that moment, I felt peace in my heart. Lisa was just a small part of our story, but Max and I were building something much bigger, our life together. As time passed, we stopped thinking about Lisa. John and Lisa moved away a few months later because John got a new job in the city. After they left, life in the village became peaceful again. Max and I started talking more seriously about having children, and we looked forward to the future. In the end, I learned that trust and communication are the most important things in a relationship. No matter what challenges come our way, I know Max and I can get through them together. The end. If you enjoyed the story, please like, subscribe, and share.